Hey peeps, how are you? This is Art again. It's a show, Let's Be Reasonable, and this is the second installment for the day. This is Saturday, folks. We are 2 days from the Iowa caucus, and of course, I posted a video earlier where I was trying to thread a needle, right? I'm trying to figure out why the Trump MAGA team is spending time cutting commercials about Nikki Haley and what that may mean. Remember, I pointed us to the internal, and I had to tell you, I mean, there are things that they generally they parrot one another when it comes to the border. They say the same thing when it comes to crime. They say the same things when it comes to issues like you name it, everything. There's nothing that remotely different in what they may be saying, except for in one area, and that area is in the area of abortion and abortion rights and how women see that issue. And I was making the case in the previous video that the issue related to women, abortion and or abortion, anti-abortion, that issue has been a galvanizing force for women, right, particularly, and the Democratic Party as a whole lately, right? So, and I wonder, Iowa and Kansas related to one another. I mean, Kansas is just right next door, pretty much down and to the left of Iowa. Um, Demographically, they look the same, right? Not that much of a difference, and you just wonder if that issue is a standout issue, and would that be a reason for them to spend some money in order to tamp down the possibility that women may be interested in Nikki Haley? The other thing I did bring up was the fact that earlier this past week, we saw that there's a spike in the number of new registers or new registrants, people who are newly registered for the Iowa caucus. And again, we don't know if this is because of women or if it's because of independents or if it's because people are just turning out in droves for Donald Trump. Don't necessarily know. It just is odd, right? So that being the oddity of the situation, I said to myself, I mean, we can look at these polls again, and I'll make the point that I made earlier, right? When you look at the polling, and I'm gonna share that. Okay, so when you look at the polling, don't get so romantically involved. And we're using real clear politics in order to make this example, but don't get so romantically involved with what one pollster may be saying. Look at the average, and when you look at the average, you see a 35.2%. I mean, just not a percent, but 35.2 points. That's a hell of an average when it comes to how do you look at your candidates. He's 35 points ahead of everyone else. That's a big margin. So why spend time pop shotting Nikki Haley at this point? Not real clear. But they're not doing it with Ron DeSantis, right? And I brought up the fact earlier that Donald Trump has surrogates working on his behalf, whether they want to do it or not, I don't know. But Vivek Ramaswamy came out against Nikki Haley earlier in the week. You had Ron DeSantis on the debate stage coming out against Nikki Haley, sounding like a Trump surrogate, right? You had Rand Paul yesterday, come out against Nikki Haley, a Never Nikki pack or whatever the hell paid website that he put out, whatever, right? So all of these things working against Nick, and you ask the question: is this creating momentum for her? So I decided why not to take a quick peek at the Google Trends. The Google Trends may be able to assist us in evaluating the polling information. Is the polling information right? He's either up by 35 or he's not, right? So let's take a look and see what we see. So they actually have a tab, and I'm going to just go back to the trends. Let's go back to the home page. They have a tab dedicated to the Republican primary. So we're going to pull that up. Let me take that circle off of there. So when we pull up the Republican primary, here's the first thing that we see. This is important to take a look at. Look at these numbers. So when it comes to the primary candidates in search, All right. We see that 39% Donald Trump, 38% Nikki Haley, Vivek Ramaswamy. More people are looking at Vivek Ramaswamy than they are looking at Ron DeSantis. I mean, theoretically, Donald Trump, and I probably agree that Vivek is probably getting out of the race soon, but theoretically, Ron DeSantis should be the person getting out of the race because obviously he has no support. His support is drying up, and so are the funds. But that's another story. Is there something to this Nikki Haley surge? And again, look at these. These numbers are interesting to me. 39 to 38 says there could be something there. I don't really know. This is, and again, this is regarding primaries throughout the United States. So very broad in its context. And this indicator, I wish they would throw the percentages up there so you could see it as it kind of makes its way across. I mean, because they can tell you more. You can see that there was a bounce between, but then it became a bounce between Nikki Haley and Donald Trump for a long period of time. And then it gets a little bit more confusing. You might say Donald Trump drops off for a minute, but it all turns out to be extremely interesting. I wish they did more with it, but they don't. When you look at Republican search key issues, wow. I mean, you might say I see a lot of orange, so immigration. I see a lot of blue, right? Abortion. There's some purple in there, right? So that's Ukraine. I don't see a whole lot of red. Do you? Tell me what you think. Do you see a lot of red in it? I don't see a lot of red in it. All right. So, and interest. Let's see, searching. Okay, so New Hampshire. We could look at what 100% means, but it just means that there's a lot of saturation when it comes to Republican primary searches in that area. Iowa versus New Hampshire, right? So, all right. So, a lot of interesting information. This again stands out. This stands out. Again, doesn't support that notion that they are trying to pick Nikki Haley off because she's gaining. Don't really know, not enough information. But one thing I do want to explore. So I'm not going to hold you. I say that all the time, don't I? I gotta stop saying that. And really, I had a pastor growing up. He would always say, "I'm not going to hold you long," right? And you look up, and it's like an hour and 40 minutes later. I'm sorry, folks. But anyway, so when I look at these numbers, we can explore what's inside. So, and I want to look at a comparison between, well, let's compare them all. Let's just say Nikki Haley. There she is. Now let's put Ron DeSantis. He is. And Vivek. There we go. Okay, so there are the four candidates, and we can break this out into sub-regions, right? So we can look at Nikki Haley in, for example, the state of Iowa. So when you look at the state of Iowa, what are they talking about? Or here are the candidates. So and this is today and yesterday. So I don't know if you can really see what's here, but a lot of people are talking about Vivek. A lot of people are talking about Donald Trump. Not too many people talk about Nikki Haley, but that's over the period of one day. Donald Trump getting a lot of attention in this area. Donald Trump himself, where they're at, Trump events. How old is Nikki Haley? Earth Day. When it comes to Nikki Haley, Iowa City, Quaker Oats recall. Interesting. Republican caucus, immigration reform, Asa Hutchinson. Why would they be looking up Nikki Haley in relation to Asa Hutchinson? Maybe, I don't know. I'm not going to speculate. Ron DeSantis. No idea. I mean, the fact that Ron DeSantis and Marianne Williamson get mentioned in the same, that generally means you're not going anywhere. And then Ramaswamy. We'll see what they're talking about. Asa Hutchinson, Planet Fitness. No idea what that's about. His wife. Okay. All right. So I don't really see anything here. I don't see anything. I do see the only contrarian thing that I see, right? The only contrarian thing that I see when you pull up the candidates is what you see on the first page. And that's the fact that Nikki Haley, and this is nationally, right? So Nikki Haley is talked about nationally. Now, think about this. Are people talking about Nikki Haley because the media is talking about Nikki Haley? Or are they organically just looking at and saying, okay, here are some issues that we need to be aware of, and women's issues would be one of them? I don't know. The data is inconclusive. We're 2 days away from finding out. Now, I don't know about you, but I'm going to put my money on the notion that this race actually is a lot closer than what people would think. And I'm going to look at this in order to make that comparison. And I probably need to look at more information, but I'll need to dig deeper into the Google Trends in order to find something that either supports or doesn't support that 35-point gap between first and second in Iowa, right? So when you look at that, it's important that we get some clarity to this particular topic. Not going to find it with Google Trends, but I think Google Trends could turn out. I would say, you know what we should do? Take this information, take a snapshot of this, and see if the race turns out this way. See if it turns out Donald Trump, Nikki Haley, Vivek Ramaswamy, then Ron DeSantis. And if Ron DeSantis does finish in fourth, what does that really say about evangelical support, right? And the governor's support, because the governor supported Ron DeSantis, or actually, yeah, the governor support and the top evangelical in the state supported Ron DeSantis. What does that mean for their power and their control? It's in the hands of MAGA. If that's the case, it means that it doesn't mean anything. It could mean that the evangelicals sold their soul to MAGA. Who knows? But anyway, take a look at the Google Trends and see what you come up with in the comment section. If you see something in there that looks interesting or strange, point it out to me so I can take a peek at it as well. But hey, folks, enjoy the balance of your days coming up. It's cold, man. I don't know about you, but I'm in Indiana, and it's cold outside. So enjoy your family, enjoy your evening, and I look forward to the next video. See you soon.